Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wellness by Design today. I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer. And today we are going to be talking about, I love the title of this, From Chaos to Calm with Tapping and Song, with my special guest today, April Ebeling. Welcome, April.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm looking forward to this. I know the power of song and vibrations in the body, and I know the power of tapping, but I haven't seen anyone put the two of them together before, so I'm really excited to share this with the audience. So I'm going to tell them a little bit about you.
All right.
April Ebeling is an adoptive mom, award-winning musician, and military veteran who is passionate about creating musical experiences that make a difference in our daily lives. She created Singalong Switch to rescue her mindfulness practice as a new mom and has now helped thousands of people around the world, 23 countries and counting, have fun, fulfilling, and most importantly, fast acting with this technique. It's a wonderful addition to your mental health toolbox. So, April, this is really interesting. And like I said, I haven't heard anyone combining this before. So, just a little bit with our audience that we are energetic beings. We
Mm-hmm.
respond to vibration. Sounds are vibrations. So this is why these things are so powerful. But you discovered this yourself, April. So tell the audience a little bit about your background and how you came to be doing combining tapping and song.
Sure. Thanks again for having me. I've been singing since before I could talk. According to my parents, I was just always a singer, and so that's something that was like a self-soothing, something that I was doing already for myself since childhood. And then I discovered tapping as part of a self-development course that I took a number of years ago, probably 5 years ago. And that was also helpful. And so traditional tapping, you say phrases and tap on different meridian points of your body. And so I found that to be really helpful as well. And then 4 years ago today, I became a mom. And all
Happy
of that,
birthday to your child.
thank you. Yes. All of those wonderful self help practices just went out the window because I had zero time to spend in all of those helpful things that I knew would, make me a better or help me to be the best version of myself. I just didn't have time. And
Mhm.
so I would take a few minutes in the mornings before my husband would go to work, and I would go on the back porch and close the door because that was like the quietest space that I could find. And I would sing because I knew that that was something that would help me. And then I thought, this tapping was really helpful as well. So I just, to do that shortcut to calm as fast as I could, I would sing and tap at the same time. And that was just, it really created that calm in me that allowed me to be the best version of myself, even though I was sleep deprived and super stressed and all of the things.
Mm.
And so then about a year ago, I started sharing this practice on Insight Timer, which is a wonderful free meditation app.
It is a
I
great app.
Yeah, so I do live events there several times a month. And as I was sharing it, I found that more and more people everywhere were benefiting from it. And so that's sort of when it became like a public tool that I was sharing was about a year ago now. And I just really love sharing this as a tool to help anyone who's like stressed and short on time. This is a wonderful shortcut to get us to that place of peace.
Mm. Oh, that's fantastic. I wish I'd known about these tools when I had my babies because I know you're
Mhm.
so sleep deprived and
Yeah,
everything 100% is going into this little human being that you needs
right,
all your care, right?
right.
So, yeah, and so tapping for the people in the audience that have never heard of tapping before, can
Sure.
you just explain tapping a little bit and then we'll look at the combination of them?
Excuse me, I just burped.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You must be relaxed.
That must be it. That must be it. All right. So tapping, I like to say it's a way of moving stuck energy through our bodies. Like we know that feeling in our bodies when you get super stressed or super like startled, even, you have that like everything in your body just kind of clenches for a minute. And then, oh, wait, okay, that was just a car backfiring, or oh, that was just a, random round of thunder or something like that. Well, a lot of times your body isn't as quick to just sort of release that stress response, right? So your brain might have moved on, but your body is still holding on to that a little bit. And so then that happens in bigger ways too, with like emotional, you know, times when you're under a lot of stress with, you know, maybe losing a loved one or things like that. So tapping is a way of releasing that by tapping using acupressure points to release that energy in that's holding that we're holding in our bodies. And so there are different meridian lines. A lot of them are around our face. I
Mm-hmm.
can go through them. Like I know a lot of people are going to just be listening to this, so I'll just go ahead and go through the points if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. So I start by tapping in the middle of my forehead. So it's right between your eyebrows. And then the next point is on the side of your eye,
Mm-hmm.
and then under your eye, then under your nose, sort of right between your nose and your lip, and then under your bottom lip, like in that cleft of your chin. And now we're going to move down to just under your collarbone. And then right where your bra strap goes across, sort of in the middle of your rib cage.
Under your arm.
Yes, under your arm. And then the completed round of tapping by tapping on the top of your head. So there's no magic amount of times to tap on those points. There's no magic, like which hand to use doesn't matter. That's the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of this technique, is you cannot screw it up. I like to joke that like that's why I adopted it, because it was easy.
Yeah.
And so you can find there's lots of wonderful free resources online of teachers that do this tapping technique along with saying different phrases. But as
Yeah.
you mentioned, I'm the only one that I'm aware of, at least, that have combined it with singing. And so that singing is just, we all know it helps to raise our vibrational energy, right? Like when you're feeling down, like turn on your favorite song and just rock out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that singing is raising our vibrational energy. And then by tapping, we're sort of flushing out any stuck energy. And it just really it really helps to calm us down quickly as possible.
I love it. Doesn't matter. I know with traditional tapping, the
Mhm.
phrases, there's certain sort of phrases that they use that kind of
Right.
take you from where you're actually sort of speaking the negative side
Sure.
of whatever
Sure.
you're
Yes.
feeling and then moving to something more
Hmm.
positive. Is it the same way with the singing, or you don't do that at all? Just sing what makes you feel good?
Well, I like to acknowledge where we are. Like, I think that's
Okay,
very
yeah.
important. You know, I am very much like a happy, joy sort of person, and I would love to just pretend everything's fine. But that's not the reality. And so, actually, one of my more popular meditations that I do is even in the chaos, I can find the calm. So, we're acknowledging
Beautiful.
it, it's really chaotic right now, but I do have the power to find the calm. And
Mm.
so that phrase I find is you're acknowledging where you are, but you're also empowering yourself to look for the ways that you can find the calm in the situation.
Oh, April, I love that. I love that. And just that word calm is calming, right?
Oh, right? Yes.
And it's also bringing people right into the moment, because most of us, like unless we're, really in a life or death situation, most of us are safe where we are right now,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, it's really bringing us to that point, that place. Interesting when you were talking earlier about, we have that sudden startle, or
Mhm.
or whatever triggers us, right? Um, I interviewed another lady, Dr. Keisha Ewers, and I think she said that when that happens, our cortisol stays elevated for something like, I think she said 14 hours. I could be wrong,
Oh,
but it's a
wow.
long time. It takes a
Mhm.
long time to get it down again. So,
Mhm.
if we can, and that's just like from one, if we can like get ourselves out of it right away, we're lessening
Yes.
the effect, right? So these
Exactly.
tools like you're talking about are so, so powerful.
Mhm.
Oh, Margie is listening, and Margie, I mean, says, I startle easily. Yeah, and I think, that's probably a lot of times I think it's because we're already in that heightened kind of state
Yes.
of fear and sort of to be on the lookout, and then it can happen. Anything can kind of trigger us, right?
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
Margie, I think you're going to find this really helpful. Margie. I got friends that go by both, and so I'm not sure which way you pronounce your name, but there you go. So you're going to find this helpful. So I'm really glad. Thanks for that comment there. All right. Now, what about, Laura says me as well. Um, so, what about some of us who are a little shy about singing? So, you and I were sharing
Yes.
before we hit record or started live that
Yeah.
I said that I wasn't allowed in choir in grade 5. And
Mm.
then, of course, I have brothers that would say things like, "What'd you do with the money? What money? The money mom gave you for singing lessons." That kind of stuff
Mm.
led me to this thing. Well, I can't sing.
Mhm.
Now, as I got older, I realized that I can sing, but I'm still, I still got that little belief back there that tells me
Mhm.
don't sing in front of people because it may not sound good.
Mm.
So, how do you deal with that, April?
Well, that is another, like, if I have a mission in life, it is to help people release those stories that I mean, like you said, it was your brothers, they were teasing you, they were doing what
Being
brothers
smart.
do.
Yeah.
Right? And actually, I can credit my brother with the fact that I sang as much as I did because it annoyed him, but my mother allowed me to do it. And so, I really should just give him all the credit.
Oh, I wish I had thought of that.
There
Imagine
you
how
go.
well I'd be singing now.
There you go. So there are so many, you are not alone. There's so many people that were, didn't make the cut for this or that choir, or, just random adults even will say things like, just, hey, why don't you go like stand in the back because your voice isn't like quite what we're looking for. Um, and even like programs like American Idol or The Voice sort of are training us to believe that there are just a few certain people whose voices matter and whose voices we should listen to, and the rest of us need to just be quiet. And that's something that I do not agree with. We
Mhm.
were all given voices for a reason, and your voice is the most powerful voice for you to hear. And so, and I say this a lot of times when I do the lives on Insight Timer, like, I love that people love to listen to my voice, and that's such a compliment. I'm honored, but I also believe that your voice is going to actually help you more than my voice is going to help you, because you've been hearing your voice your whole life. And so if you can speak or sing to yourself these truths, like, even in the chaos, I can find the calm, you're going to believe yourself before you're going to believe me. So
Mm.
if you can have the courage to use your own voice, and I realize this is like a public forum, I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you sing, but I would really encourage you to start thinking about how your voice is so powerful for you to hear,
Mm.
and how it's like an important healing tool for you. Like this, it's not about winning at karaoke or something. It's really about healing yourself.
You're making me think uh, about like our voice is our vibration, right? And so like
Yes.
I sing in the key of me, and that's the perfect key for me,
There
right?
you go. There you go.
So yeah, I might hum or I might sing. If I'm
Yes, of
feeling brave, I may
course.
I may sing, April.
Of course. I just do what feels best for you. And this is, I mean, that's really what this is. It's like, what is going to help you the most. And if it's going to help you to sing, great. And if that's like, if the baby step to get there
Mm.
is to hum, let's do it. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Um,
And the other beautiful thing about singing too, either singing or humming, is it stimulates the vagus nerve, right? Which is our parasympathetic system.
mhm,
It is the rest, digest, relax, restore, rejuvenate, normal system.
mhm,
So there, I'm sure that's a part of the whole thing as well, right? We're combining
mhm.
the singing and it's helping that vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're the only one doing this. There haven't been any scientific. I know there's tons of science about tapping,
There
but
is. I love to read those studies. I'm one of like that's how I knew I was really into this when I was like looking up journal articles on it.
yes, and
So yes, there's great studies on that. Yeah.
are there studies also on singing and how it improves health?
There is, and so actually, one of the I write blog posts and emails and things for my list. And one of the things that I wrote was like during the pandemic, I think we all probably saw those videos of, I think it was people in Italy that were singing out of their windows, right?
Yes,
And so there was a lot, I just got chills because that was so powerful. It was such a, just a
me too.
wonderful, oh, it was just a wonderful sense of community in that time when we just all felt really isolated. And so that's the power of music, is to, bring us together and help us to encourage each other through uniting our voices in song. And that sort of spurred a lot of articles came out around that time about how beneficial it is to sing and how it's good for your physical health as well as your emotional health. And so, yes, there are definitely studies about singing and studies about tapping. And so maybe someday there'll be studies about the combination.
One of these days, I
Yeah.
think you should do that because well, you know what? People know when things work for them, though. They don't need to
Absolutely.
study
Yeah.
because they know they feel better, and
Mhm.
that's really what matters. And that's
Mhm.
why your audience has been growing because they know it works for them. So
Exactly.
let's dive into. Actually, can we do a
Yeah,
practice?
let's
What
do
do you need to
it.
teach us before we start?
Well, I'll just sing, since we've been referring to this, even in the chaos, I can find to the calm. We'll just do that one. I think I'm not alone. I like to overcomplicate things. So a lot of times when I do these lives on Insight Timer, I'll have these long scripts, like, oh, these songs that just like tons of verses and choruses and the whole thing. And eventually people are commenting like, how about just something simple? How about like, even in the chaos, I can find the calm, because you're going to remember that more than you'll
Right.
remember, 15 verses of something that's really beautiful. But the point is something to be simple, right? So I'll sing each phrase twice. And the second time, you can choose to sing along, you can hum, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then I'll be tapping on those points that we talked about earlier. So if you want a review of those points, I'm sure they can refer back to this video. Or I have some resources as well if they'd like that. So,
If you're
um,
listening, and then if you're
yeah,
uh, if you're not watching the live today and you're watching the recording, you can watch on YouTube or Instagram to see, or LinkedIn as well, to watch the video and see the tapping points. Okay.
awesome. Awesome. All right. So we're going to start in that middle of the forehead, middle between your eyebrows point. Even in the chaos, even in the chaos, I can find the calm. I can find the calm. Even in the chaos, even in the chaos, I can find the calm. I can find the calm. So that was just one round of tapping, and we can, of course, like keep going with that. But you can feel it already, right? You just get the
Yeah,
it's
I
nice.
could.
Yeah.
And I got a little brave. I sang a little
You
quietly,
did.
but I
You
sang.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that really felt peaceful. Should we do another round?
Sure, let's do it. I might go a little off book and use a few different phrases as well. So
Okay,
just
sure.
even in the chaos, even in the chaos, I can find the calm. I can find the calm. There is room to grow. There is room to grow. When I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling low, Even in the
Yeah.
chaos, I can find the calm.
I
I can find the calm.
come,
Even though there's chaos,
even though there's
even though there's chaos, I remain calm. I remain
rain come.
calm. I always like to finish it out, even if I'm done singing. I'll just
Yeah.
finish
Oh,
the
that
song.
was so nice. You know, your voice is so um, sweet and pure. It reminds me of a
Oh,
Disney movie.
oh, thanks. Thank you.
It, yeah,
Thank you.
really, really beautiful. Really
Thank
beautiful, April.
you.
I like
Thank
that.
you.
I like that. So, what kind of things do you do on Insight Timer? Like, if people were wanted to follow you a bit more there, you said mentioned something about you got longer scripts and do different things. So, what else?
Right. So obviously, like when I do a live event, I try to tailor it to a specific subject. Like recently, I've been doing a lot around peace because that's something. Oh, yay! I just saw that comment. I love it. That's wonderful. I've been doing a lot around peace because that's something that we're all. It just seems to be really needed right now. Um, and so, like, I just tailor each of the live events to a specific subject or a specific I think I have one coming up tomorrow about self-confidence and how the more confident we are in ourselves, then the better we treat others. Like the better you're treating yourself, then goes in return to how you're treating others. Um,
Absolutely.
so those live events are wonderful and a great, like, if you wanted more, like that's another great way to get more. But I also do work one-on-one and in group settings, like over Zoom, and those we can tailor more specifically. So if you wanted something like for a specific physical issue that you're dealing with, or like a specific emotional trauma maybe that you're working to overcome, then like the more specific we can be, then the even better benefit that you get. So these are great because this is sort of like, it lowers your cortisol levels, as you mentioned, really quickly. And it just really can calm you down. And then if you want to go even deeper, those are some great ways to do that.
And that's fantastic. I like that whole idea of tailoring. So when someone knows, you know, what particular thing is going on with them, you can really
Mm-hmm.
hone in on the emotions that are
Mm-hmm.
causing that cortisol rise for them and really neutralizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there any minimum number of go arounds you would suggest?
No, I will say one of the things that I don't often remember to do, and I when I do these live events, I have some regular attenders that will remind me, like in the comments, like, "Hey, you need to tell us to rate where we are now,
I was
so
going to
that
ask
when you're done." Yes, exactly.
you.
So I should have told you ahead of time. I should have empowered you. Hey, remind me when I forget. So a great way to know if this practice is effective for you is to, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, chaos to calm, where are you falling on the spectrum now? And so 10 being, I feel like I'm going to go crazy, and 1 being, I am just totally chill. And so then you rate where you are. Then we do a few rounds of that, and then you see where your number is, and hopefully it's come down some.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like the one of the practices I was going to share at the end, when you ask about like what's one thing we can do today, um, is using that phrase, "I deeply and completely love and accept myself."
Mhm.
That's something, when we start to do that, when we start to sing and tap on that phrase, something inside of you might come up, like a BS meter. Might trigger something in your head that says, "Oh no, I can't deeply and completely love and accept myself. My dining room is a wreck." Or I yelled at my kid earlier, or whatever. And so that's when you need to pay attention. Okay, now that's something to tap on, is even though my dining room is a wreck, I can deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Right.
So that to answer that earlier question, there is no minimum number of times. It's just like how how long do you need to do it to get to that point where you feel like, okay, now I can be the best version of myself. I've sort of quieted that noise and I can
Mhm.
move forward.
So before you start, you rate yourself on that chaos to calm scale.
Yes.
You do some tapping. Like, I mean, I noticed in the tapping and the singing, like I
Mhm.
felt really calm right afterwards. I hadn't
Mhm.
done the before and after. And if you
Mhm.
haven't gone down to a level that you where you want to be and you
Mhm.
still have time,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Then go
Exactly.
again. But there's you can't do anything wrong. That's what I love about these
Correct.
tools. You can't
Me
do
too.
anything wrong.
Me too.
It's free and totally
Yes.
portable, right? You've
Yes.
always got it with you.
I use it
So,
in the car a lot. I mean, I
yeah.
don't know how you are in traffic, but I'm not the best version of myself a lot in my car. And so
Eh,
my son even, like, I'll do it when,
yeah.
when we're stuck in traffic and he will do it too. And it just helps us to keep our cool.
Yeah, you can teach it to little kids and
Oh,
old
yeah.
people.
Mhm.
I thought I read somewhere that it was well, not the tapping and song, but tapping was being taught. They were running like pilot projects to teach it to little kids in
Mhm.
schools, which I think is a great resiliency tool.
Yes.
Just so powerful. Now, adding your own vibration, the key is me
Mhm.
to it, is
Mhm.
even better. And those
Mhm.
words that you selected are so beautiful. So, is there anything we haven't covered yet that you want to make sure the audience hears before I ask you your this one last question?
I think that was good. I wanted to add when you said, working with they were teaching this to children. It's also just recently been approved by the VA and it's being used as a technique, like the tapping is being used to help treat PTSD in veterans. And so like it's that was a big deal when that got approved because the VA is not like it's getting through all that red tape is a big deal.
Right. Oh, that
So
is
I just
powerful.
yeah, I just felt like that was validating on a whole nother level when I read that.
Yeah.
I was like, yay, that's wonderful.
Have you read The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk?
I have not.
Oh, such a great book.
Okay.
He helped the veterans, right, dealing with
Mhm,
PTSD, and
mhm,
quite interesting. And then he moved on to other people that had traumatic experiences.
mhm,
He's a psychiatrist, and he talks about a number of tools. I'm sure tapping was in there as tools to help people. He said talk therapy for those
mhm.
situations wasn't actually that helpful for
Right,
people who've been through a lot of trauma, and that
right,
these other different therapies, and some worked for different people,
right.
were really helpful. So I think it's important to find a tool that works for you. And this is certainly one
Absolutely.
that seems to, like, pretty much everyone I talk to just talk about how helpful it is. Laura says that doing in community might be nice too.
Yes. Yes. So that's why I do like I was offering or I do still offer one-on-one sessions because that's like really helpful to get specific as I mentioned if there's something like maybe that you don't want the world to know about but like I think I mentioned in one of the resources that I texted or I messaged you about like I worked with someone once to relieve constipation with this. So like, it's maybe not something you're going to talk to everybody about,
Oh, I
but
talk
it's
about poop all the time.
but it's also something like in a group setting is just so powerful. And that's why I started offering the group sessions as well, because it was like that sense that you're not alone, that
Yeah.
we're all working together to improve our mental health,
Yeah.
that like it's just a really powerful experience.
Yeah, and singing in groups is a beautiful experience as well when
Yes.
you've got it all coming around you and everyone's, making music
Yeah.
together. There's something really beautiful about that. I guess, if you talk about vibrations, we're sharing in that vibration, so that amplifies it, right?
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
really does.
Okay, thanks for that, Laura. And I want to put up that one last question. What's one action someone could take today to improve their health? What would you say, April?
I would say this tapping and singing using either the phrase, even in the chaos, I can find the calm, or another favorite of mine is I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. So you mentioned Insight Timer. People can find you there.
Yeah.
Where else can people find you?
Well, I am April Sings a Lot in all the places. So my website is aprilsingsalot.com. I have a special gift for your listeners at aprilsingsalot.com/wellness. But then I am also on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, April Sings a Lot.
Okay, I'll make sure that those links are in the comments, and the link to the gift is
Awesome.
there for everyone. April, this has been really special. Thank you so much for being on Wellness by Design today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you to our listeners and viewers for being part of this, for your attention today, and for showing up. And give it a try. Give it a try and see how you feel.
Yes, yes.
This only works if you do it, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, have a great day, everyone. Bye.